Hello.
Let's move out. We're almost at Way High Pavilion. Hey, do you think Ganyu will be shocked to see Cloud Retainer like this?
No, because she's probably seen her like this before, Paimon. Why are you asking so many silly questions?
Guess we have no idea if Shenhe and Ganyu have ever seen her in this form before. Wait, where did she go?
She's probably gone on ahead.
Why are you just standing there, Cloud Retainer?
Because she's done with your silly questions.
Quietly now. One shall stay here. You two can go and meet with her.
But why? Isn't it better if we all go together?
If one were to proudly proclaim one's presence, Ganyu would surely profess herself otherwise unoccupied and drop everything to attend to one's visit. One fears that would only result in her staying up all night to make up for lost time. One does not wish to trouble her. Conversing vicariously via you two shall suffice. Do remember to inquire as to her recent well-being. Again, do not mention one's presence here.
Fair enough. Makes sense.
Of course, hush hush,
Alright,
we will
then we'll
not
just
say
pass on
anything.
your regards and...
We don't
Cloud
want to
Retainer?
disappoint you. Oh, no.
Ugh.
Oh, busted.
Is that lady someone you know, Ms. Ganyu?
She is indeed. I'm sorry, Huixin, but could we delay the upcoming meeting for a little bit? I believe my schedule today is quite full. Although, perhaps I could move some work to later in the evening.
Oh, not to worry, Ms. Ganyu. I'll make the necessary arrangements right away.
Hello.
Thank you, Huixin.
Thank you for joining.
Always.
It's been a while, Ganyu.
Greetings. What brings you here today? And Cloud Retainer, too. It's been quite some time since I last saw you in this form.
You are quite mistaken. One is not a
Chat TTS.
Cloud Retainer of whom you speak. One is simply a mere mortal passerby.
Huh?
Yes, so because I stream on
Seems she's
my
not buying it.
PlayStation, I have it so that because it doesn't show up on the screen, the chat, so I don't always actually see it in the corner. I have it set so that it actually speaks out what people are saying, so that if I don't see what the chat is saying, it reads it out to me, and then I'm not missing anything that
Nice.
anyone's saying.
That was but a simple test. One did not expect you to be able to recognize one so easily, especially after so many years of only seeing one's other form.
Because it used to show in the bottom corner of the screen like the full permanent chat log, but now it literally disappears as soon as it's said, and I kept missing what people were saying.
But recognizing you is, my responsibility as your disciple.
An apt observation. One was simply passing by while attending to some important business. One thought it would only be fitting to pay you a visit while in the area.
Wait, Paimon wasn't aware of any important... Cloud Retainer's right! We've still got something super important to do, so we can't stay here for too long today.
God damn it, Paimon, ruining
Oh,
everything.
Is that so? But it's been so long since we last saw each other.
One simply desired to see you and had no intention of interrupting your work. A quick conversation should suffice for today. A more involved reunion should wait until you find yourself less occupied.
I understand. That should be fine.
While one acknowledges the amount of work that you have to deal with every day, one must also remind you to rest. Though Adepti blood flows through your veins, excessive exhaustion will still cause grave harm to your body.
Yep, listen to Cloud
Still
Retainer.
makes one nostalgic to see you as you are now, respected and independent. When you were young, you oft begged one to cuddle you to sleep when you suffered from nightmares.
Cloud Retainer! Stop!
If you insist. We are running short on time regardless, so one will refrain from going into each and every story. Why don't you continue your conversation? One shall simply stand by and listen.
No.
Wow, you've been to so many new places since the last time we spoke. If you ever need anything, please just come find me at Yue High Pavilion. Also, forgive me for my presumptuousness, Cloud Retainer, but if you plan to continue appearing in this form, don't you think it'd be helpful to adopt a human name?
A human name? Huh. You raise a valid point. Considering the sheer extent of one's renown, Cloud Retainer is surely too recognizable as a name.
You really think so? Not that you're not famous or anything, but that famous?
You presume to know the extent of one's illustrious achievements. One would hardly think such a thing to be possible. Nevertheless, Ganyu's advice cannot be ignored. From this point on, when in public occasions, be sure to refer to one as Shenyun.
Canyon?
I assume that's a reference to the full record of Pristine Pavilion. An Adeptus of years past would rise with the clouds and rest with the moon. They were enlightened and wise, free and unfettered. The writer referenced Master's name to describe her carefree and spontaneous nature.
Oh, that sounds super cool! Paimon feels like only the most powerful of Adepti could rise with the clouds and rest with the moon.
Actually, those lines were originally written to describe Cloud Retainer herself.
Huh? Wait, so you're really that powerful?
I mean, are you surprised, Paimon?
And what of it? Did you truly take one to be nothing more than a bird of bigger than average size?
Not exactly.
Paimon, you're so rude to Cloud Retainer.
To be fair, Cloud Retainer rarely speaks of her past accomplishments. The tales of her past can only be found in ancient texts. It is said that once, a long, long time ago, there was a severe drought in Liyue. Left with no choice, many people left their homes, while others spent day and night praying to the Adepti. Although I did not live through such tragedy, simply reading about it is enough to gain a visceral understanding of all the pain and desperation during that time. On top of the drought, a noxious gas also began to spread through the land. If not for Cloud Retainer's efforts, much of Liyue would be nothing more than a barren wasteland today. The books had
Cloud
this to say
Retainer, our
about
Lord
what
and
happened.
Savior.
Upon arrival, the Adeptus borrowed the wind to retain the clouds. Immediately, the clouds gathered together, and abundant rain burst forth from the heavens. Drought and plague were both driven away, and the people were saved.
Wow. That's incredible!
Mortal records add embellishments to dramatize past events. One did merely with one ought, and even if one had not interceded, the other Adepti would surely have stepped in to help.
You sure about that, Cloud
You
Retainer?
stopped an entire drought! Can you really control the weather like the book said? Oh, Paimon suddenly has a lot more respect for you. So it was Paimon's bad for calling you Illuminated Bird before. You're not too mad. Are you?
You're so rude, Paimon.
How laughable. A name is but a simple label we carry with us on our journey through the world. Why would one be offended by such a trivial matter?
That's a relief. In that case, Paimon will continue to call you whatever feels right in the moment.
Paimon, have more respect
Well,
for her.
that is quite enough ancient history for now. Ganyu, have you had word from Shenhe? One has heard that she procured a job recently. Have you any thoughts on her workplace? And what, pray tell, of her monthly remuneration? Moreover, does she find herself overly inundated with work? Is she allowed time off during Lantern Rite?
That is a lot of questions.
Concerned mother.
There is no cause for concern, Cloud Retainer. I introduced Shenhe to her employer personally. Wanmin Restaurant's business has been booming recently. So, with Chef Mao being swamped with customers, and Shangling still off and out in search of new recipes, I introduced Shenhe to staff the restaurant.
I see. Most excellent indeed. One has had the pleasure of being introduced to that family. Shangling is kind and astute, while her father is loyal and reliable. One has no cause to believe that they will make Shenhe's work difficult. Now, it is almost time to partake in the victuals of noon. One shall visit Wanmin Restaurant in person and see how Shenhe is doing.
Huh? But didn't you just say that you had something important to do?
Can that wait until after we've eaten?
You may return to your work, Ganyu. One shall see to this matter on one's own. There will be many an occasion to dine together in the future. One is certain the opportunity shall present itself most readily.
Yeah,
Of
we
course,
put on
Cloud
a
Retainer.
dinner date with a
Please
Cloud
take
Retainer.
care. Traveler, Paimon, I'll see you some other time.
See you around, Ganyu! Whew. Paimon was pretty quick on the uptake there, don't you think?
I mean, you nearly blew our
As
cover.
soon as you mentioned important business to attend to, Paimon realized that you were just looking to cut the conversation short and not take too much of Ganyu's time. Is Paimon right?
No, in fact, it was not an excuse. One is indeed visiting Liyue Harbor for an important purpose.
Wait, for real?
The moment is not yet upon us. Still, the truth will be revealed to you in time.
Huh. She really seems to be playing up the whole mysterious Adeptus thing right now. Is it because we just heard that cool story about her powers?
Maybe, Paimon, maybe. Teleport here.
You get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, how can I not? Not even fine food is enough to distract from the presence of a fine lady, huh?
Oh, I'm far more interested in getting her details than ordering any dishes. Hey, how about you ask her?
You do it.
Her beauty's attracting
No.
customers.
I think you should. Wait, she's coming.
What can I get for you today?
Greetings, miss. I was just wondering if you'd be willing to...
What would you like to order?
Two servings of more meat to go. Good chat. Bye.
Just has him that tongue-tied.
Shenhe!
Welcome. It's been a while. May I take your order?
Don't welcome us as guests and greet us as old friends in the same line. It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
God, Paimon, you're being so picky.
And this is?
This is Miss Xinyun.
Master?
Huh?
One does not recall ever revealing this form to you before. How were you able to ascertain one's true identity with such ease?
I've trained and lived with Master for more than 10 years. I would recognize you no matter what form you take.
Proud mother.
Is something the matter, Master?
Hardly. Hardly. One simply learned of your employment from your letter and came to check on your well-being.
And check out the great food, too.
Indeed. It's almost lunchtime. My apologies. I'm still on the clock and can't talk for very long.
Well, if it isn't the Traveler in Paimon. Are you here for Shenhe? The lunch rush isn't in yet, Shenhe. So, I've got things covered for now. Go ahead, sit down and enjoy some time with your friends. I'll let you know if things pick up.
Thank you, Chef Mao.
Aw. Wait, where did he go? Oh, back here.
It is just as one expected. The owner of Wanmin Restaurant is indeed a most reasonable and accommodating human. Still, the work here entails dealing with quite a varied group of people. Has this been difficult for you, Shenhe?
It's been manageable so far. I sometimes run into strange people, but I have figured out a way to deal with them.
Seems like you've been making progress. So by dealing with them, you mean...
First, I try to talk sense into them. If that doesn't work, I threaten them with violence. At this point, they usually decide they are in favor of a civil conversation.
Oh, how should Paimon put this?
Honestly, that sounds quite reasonable.
A sensible plan. One is gladdened to see you integrate so well into human society.
And you, Master? How have you been?
Simply marvelous. Though Mount Outsong has scarcely enjoyed your presence recently, one has hardly found the pleasure of one's own company to be lacking.
I see. Oh, just as expected of Master. I have missed Master quite a bit too. Even though work has been busy lately, I've already had a conversation with Chef Mao about taking some time off soon to visit Master.
Oh, you did? Do make note of such matters in your letters in the future. There's hardly a need to keep one in suspense.
Whoa, her mood shot up just like that.
By the way, Master, since you are in Liyue Harbor, have you had the chance to visit Ganyu?
Indeed. She is similarly preoccupied with her work. There was time only to exchange a few simple pleasantries.
Ganyu told us the story of Cloud Retainer's name. It was amazing. We never knew how powerful she was before.
I see. In that case, allow me to also share a story about Master's past.
Oh?
Is that a problem, Master? I believe this to be a good topic of conversation.
No, not a problem. One was simply caught off guard. But no matter. Please, proceed. One is most curious to see how much of one's own conversational prowess you possess.
Master once participated in a race against Mooncarver. After Mooncarver lost, he insisted that Master's ability to fly gave her a natural edge in such a contest. In response, Master agreed to forego flying in return for being able to use one of her devices in the race. Mooncarver accepted, only to find Master with a brand new device on the day of the contest.
Huh, what kind of device was it?
It was a mechanical vehicle made out of iron. What was it called again? Oh, an electro-powered bicycle?
Oh, you refer to the bicyclical Thunderflashmobile. One spent 49 days conceptualizing and crafting it. It need only be infused with adeptal energy, and it can cover thousands of miles in one day. Oh, it boggles the mind why Mooncarver ever supposed he might best me in a contest of locomotion. Though he sprinted with all his might, he could barely keep up. Alas, the one flaw of my mechanism lay in its weakness against mountainous terrain. One was thwarted mere seconds from victory, when it was thrown off course and failed to make it across the final stretch. Truly a most unfortunate turn of events. Anyway, do go on, Shenhe.
Master, that was the end of that story.
Is that so? Huh. With you gone, One has seldom felt the desire to call upon those old fossils for another contest. What is a race without spectators, after all?
Have you been lonely, Master?
Lonely? Huh. At one's age, entire human generations come and go in the blink of an eye. Even one's own self-directed musings can span several days and nights. 'Tis a most foreign sentiment. The mere mention of it is preposterous. What is the reason for that look upon your face?
It's nothing. It's just... Well, Paimon gained a lot of respect for you after listening to that story of you summoning the rain and everything. But all it took was a few words out of your mouth and it's like you're back to being that illuminated bird again. I was just a little bit confused. Which one of the two is the real cloud retainer?
To me, they are both, Master. One is the master that's widely revered by the people, while the other is the master that I respect and adore.
Huh. One finds oneself exalted yet again with sweet words of praise and flattery of a most extravagant nature. You chose to exalt one with your words, yet you refuse to grace Mount Outsong with your presence for any extended period of time. One would almost question the sincerity of your estimations. This is not to say that your words paint an inaccurate picture. One has always lived by a single ideal. Eschew all action and abide by no rule. One does as one pleases and speaks as one pleases. Others may critique or praise as they see fit, yet one places little weight in such judgments.
She got like, what, 2 sentences of flattery from her disciple, and it's as if her ego is about to burst.
Do you have any empty tables?
Hey there, could we get another fish stew?
I'm hearing more guests come in. I should get back to work.
Alright, good luck with the lunchtime rush, Shenhe.
I'll try my best.
So much yummy food! Paimon's gonna feast!
One is fond of all kinds of delicacies and delights in a multitude of flavors. The dishes here demonstrate no shortage of culinary skill. Their unique flavor profile has left one more than satisfied. In fact, one has been struck by quite the fit of inspiration. One has already begun to conceptualize the next generation of supreme cuisine machines.
Everything's so tasty! A bit too hot at times, but still super tasty.
I'm sorry, miss, but our tables are full.
Shall we try somewhere else, Granny?
But it smells so delightful. Can we really not eat here? My poor legs can't go on for much longer.
Well, you could always check with some of the other guests and see if anyone's happy to share a table.
Okay, I'll ask around.
Headphones are playing up then. They're only playing up one ear.
Excuse me, would you mind letting us share a table with you? There are no empty tables left, so... Ah, well, Paimon doesn't mind. What about you guys? Great! Thanks so much. My name is Shuyu, and this is my granny, Yuendai. Granny? Yep. Is there something wrong with that?
Don't be rude,
No,
Paimon.
Paimon's just a bit surprised. She looks so young. Yeah, a lot of people compliment Granny on her youthful looks, but she's actually much older than she appears.
She probably recognizes the cloud retainer.
Granny, why don't you take a seat? Come on, it's not polite to stare.
Yeah, don't be rude, man.
Huh. Have we met before?
No.
'Tis a fated meeting, then. Please, take a seat.
What would you like to eat, Granny? I can order for you.
I want braised earthworms. They always pop up out of the ground after a rainstorm.
No, not this again. Granny, there's no braised earthworms on the menu.
Please don't eat your friends, Granny.
Well, that sounds weird. Do people actually eat that? Right, that's what Paimon was thinking too. Need any help? Help? Oh, do you mean with Granny? Thanks, that's nice of you to offer. Granny has pretty bad dementia, so her memory's getting worse all the time. She's always saying things that sound kinda confusing. Actually, her memory's been bad ever since I was little. But it's gotten so bad lately that I even have to remind her who I am every morning. They died young. It's just me and Granny now.
Oh.
Oh, but it's okay. Don't feel bad. Granny loves me a lot, and I love her a lot too. Sure, it's hard at times, but you just gotta make the best of the life you've got. Wow, you're really tough for your age, kid. You're too kind.
And me? Oh, what about me?
You're doing great,
You're
Granny.
tough too, Granny. Plus, you're really gentle, and you're always there for me.
Yes, and it's hardly as if I forget everything. I still remember the important things. Wait, what was that really important thing again?
Don't worry, Granny.
Ah, I remember now. It was a dream. I had a dream where everything was dark. Someone was standing in front of me. She told me to come and find her, and that once I'd found her, I would be free.
Huh? That sounds super important. But how come you've never told me about it before?
It was just a dream, so I forgot about it. But I'm in a good mood now, and somehow I remembered it again. You know, I believe I've had this dream a great many times. But just how many times have I had it? Now that I do not remember.
Wait, so you have a reoccurring dream where someone's talking to you? That sounds spooky. Oh, does that mean you're possessed?
Goodness sakes, Paimon.
Unlikely. Her eyes are clear, and her breathing remains calm and level. One sees no signs of possession.
Are you sure?
Who do you take me for? Is one not an adept? Am I not an expert?
You're right. Paimon almost forgot you're the expert. In that case, do you still remember what the person in your dreams looked like, Granny?
Not anymore. Although, I have a sense that she looked rather like me. But not as I am now. My younger self.
A younger version of Granny? This is just getting weirder and weirder. What is going on here?
No idea, Paimon.
As
How are
one
we meant to
said,
know?
Fate must have brought us together. You may leave this situation to me.
Are you sure? So, what are your names? Paimon's Paimon.
Just Shenyun is fine.
Thank you all so much for offering to help. But first, I'm sorry for asking, but, how do you want us to pay you back? Oh, we don't need any payment for this. Thank you so much. You're welcome. But Miss Shenyun, what exactly can we do to help out this Granny? All we have to go off is that dream. Where do we start?
That is elementary. Since her dreams portray her younger self, then we shall retrace the steps of her youth. Once we have revisited those places, her memories will likely return.
Sounds like a plan. So, Granny, do you remember which places you went to when you were young?
Why, of course I do. The heavens above, the earth below, the wispy clouds, and the emerald mountain streams.
Okay, taking that as a no. I might have an idea.
We appreciate
When I
that.
was really little, my dad told me that Granny used to be a martial artist heroine who saved loads of people from a disaster. If it's true, then maybe they wrote about it in the history books or something. A martial arts heroine? Oh, Shincho knows tons about Liyue's chivalric traditions. If anyone knows about the heroes of the past, it's him. Let's go find him at the Feiyun Commerce Guild.
Are you leaving already? But I'm still hungry.
I'll go order some food, Granny. If there's nothing on the menu you especially want, I'll just get a few different things.
It seems we must part ways for now. The Traveler and Paimon are bound for the Feiyun Commerce Guild, while Yuendai and Shuyu shall remain here and partake of their lunch. As for myself, I have matters to discuss with Streetward Rambler.
Streetward Rambler? Oh, you mean Madame Ping!
Precisely. Let us meet at Yujing Terrace once you are ready.
But we've not finished our food. We're just gonna leave this full thing of food right here. Ah, such a waste. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Beep beep. Let me go. Ow, I'm stuck.
Huh. It's you two. What brings you here?
Shincho! Great, we found you! We wanted to ask you about something.
That's not a whole lot of information to go off of. I don't know if I can say for sure. I can't pinpoint her identity from your description alone. But considering her age, I am reminded of a nameless heroine who's been featured in various chivalric novels.
Nameless heroine?
That's right. The novels often speak of a great drought from 50 years ago. As the people suffered, a nameless heroine appeared and began to clear away evil spirits and bandit camps. The people idolized her, but never learned her name. All they knew was that she always acted alone. Later, though, she supposedly fell in love with a similarly noble-minded exorcist from Mount Tianheng. They were well matched in more ways than one, often fighting together as a fearsome duo of otherworldly strength. After the drought ended, the heroine and the exorcist left the public eye and began living a reclusive life in the mountains. All that remained were tales of her incredible accomplishments. The way this nameless heroine faded from fame into obscurity later in life is not too dissimilar from Miss Yuendai. I hope that's somewhat helpful.
Thanks a lot, Shincho. We knew it'd be worth talking to you.
It's nothing at all. Just something I came across while reading. I did do a bit of extra research on her story, but it was just out of personal curiosity.
Well, Paimon
Anything
still
you can
thinks
spell?
that's super cool. Oh, wait, Shincho, if you've read up on her, do you know of any places often associated with her?
Let me think. In the novels, the nameless heroine always appeared near one of three places. Wangshu Inn, the area just north of Jueyun Karst, and Qingyun Peak. Perhaps the real-life heroine who inspired the character was also often seen near those three places. That would explain why those locations appear in the various novels written about her. You're welcome. To be honest, I found some parts of the story confusing when I first came across it. If Miss Yuendai was indeed the original inspiration for the character, she may just be able to help me put the pieces together. It's rare for a chivalric hero to fade into obscurity during their lifetime, even after retiring from the public eye. But no one ever saw or heard from the nameless heroine again. There were even rumors that she became extremely ill. I've never understood why someone would go to such lengths to erase themselves from public memory. It's almost as if she was trying to hide from something. There's probably far more to the story than what's been written.
We'll be sure to tell you if we
I
manage
wonder
to
if it'll
uncover the truth.
explain why.
That's a deal. Perhaps, behind the truth of it all, there lies a story more fantastical than any work of fiction.
Paimon feels like we just learned so much from Xingqiu. A drought, a nameless heroine, a life of seclusion. Wait, why does the story sound super familiar?
Carberton?
Oh, right! There's a drought in this story, too! Xingqiu, are droughts super common in Liyue or something?
Well, they used to be. But people have long since developed methods to prevent them, like by cultivating the soil or digging canals. So while droughts do happen from time to time, they are rarely regarded as true disasters. The drought 50 years ago is probably one of the worst we've had in the last several centuries. The crops withered, the streams ran dry, and the monsters in the mountains became rabid and agitated. Countless caravans were attacked, and people who lost their homes came together to form bandit groups. What started as a natural disaster soon became a human tragedy as well.
That sounds awful.
Yeah, and that's exactly why the nameless heroine was so beloved. She must have been someone of true integrity, to do so much for the people while asking nothing in return. Still, as terrible as that drought was, it was nothing compared to the truly calamitous disasters that befell this land in ancient times. They say that back in those days, disasters were both more severe and more common. Only the strongest of Adepti could hope to dispel the ruin and devastation. Do you have any other questions?
No, I think that answers it all, to be
We're
honest.
head back and meet up with Miss Xianyan and the others again. Paimon hopes that Granny Yuendai will be able to remember more of her past. She used to be a great hero who saved many people. So sad that she can't recall any of it. Anyway, we'll
Sometimes
be
that's
off
just
now.
what happens.
See you some other time, Xingqiu. Thank you so much for your help.
It's no problem at all. Safe travels.
I have recorded the tune that you requested. I hope it will be of help to you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Madame Ping.
Straight word, Ping. What has amused you so?
Oh, it's no serious matter. I was just reminiscing about the last time I saw you in this form. Time has wrought such change in this world, and yet you appear just the same as ever.
Time has little bearing on one's existence, nor has one keenly felt its effects whilst dwelling at Mount Outsong. Nevertheless, Ping, one would like to seek your counsel on a personal matter.
Oh, why so formal all of a sudden? I must say, you're making me a little nervous. What is it?
Well, the inquiry is as such. Approximately how much more would one need to afford a comfortable life in the harbor, not unlike the one that you yourself lead?
It does not require as much as you may think. Still, do you mean that...
Clavitainer, Madam Ping! What are you two talking about?
God, Paimon, you have to interrupt everything.
Nothing save for some trivial matters. Have you unearthed any useful details?
Shinto has a theory, but let's save it for when Chuyu and Miss Yundai have joined up with us again.
Do not be troubled, young lady. Here, have some tea.
I'm glad you have tea, Granny.
Thank you so much. What do you think, Chuyu? Does it match up with what you know of your granny? According to the story, the nameless heroine eventually fell in love with an exorcist from Mount Tianheng. Maybe that's my grandpa. I don't have many memories of him, but there was this one time I found a box in her attic full of a bunch of weird sigils. I think so too. Granny might remember something once she's returned to a familiar place.
What marvelous tea. I can taste the dew's sweetness in this cup. It's as if I was taking a stroll in the mountains, thoroughly one with nature and at peace.
Is that so? Then please drink as much as you like. There's no need to hurry. At our age, it's always nice to slow down and take the time to appreciate pleasant conversation among friends.
Thank you.
Okay, since we have the time, can I ask you something? Sure thing. What would you like to know? I have a secret I want to tell you. Let's go talk over there.
It's funny how there's times when Paimon refuse to take money payment for helping people, but there's sometimes Paimon will rob you dry.
What's wrong, Shuyu? Well, I've been kind of meaning to ask ever since we started talking in the restaurant, but are you guys all adepti in disguise? Oh! About that. Well, you guys just seem super special. Plus, I think I might have heard Miss Shen Yun call herself an adeptus. Must have been a slip of the tongue. Shen Yun, since you were the one who, misspoke, maybe you can explain to Shuyu here what you really meant by that.
One is indeed an adeptus. Is that of some concern to you?
Huh? I knew it. Well, one time when I was a little kid, I saw a pure white illuminated crane. I had this super high fever, and Granny wasn't around. I was feeling all icky and gross. But then this snowy white crane flew down from the sky. She put me on her back and flew me to her cool Adeptus house and fed me some sort of magic potion. When I woke up, I was already back in my bed and my fever was gone. I really wanted to thank her, but I was too sleepy to stay awake, so I never got the chance.
No.
So I just kind of wanted to ask if maybe any of you have ever met an Adeptus like that?
Yeah, you're standing right in front of her.
White illuminated crane? The only two we've ever met are blue and white and black and brown. Have you ever met one that's pure white, Claveratina?
Never has one met an adeptus with such features. One surmises such a description
Probably
is but a
Cloud
hyperbolic
Retainer, just
embellishment that
completely
oft
in
results
denial.
from narrative accounts.
That's weird. Was it really just a dream then? Well, even if it was just in my head, it doesn't matter that much anyway. All I really want is to help Granny recover her memories. I'm really grateful for all your help. Leave it to us! Now that we know the 3 locations, we just need to visit them one by one. Let's go to Wangshu Inn first. Okay, I'll go get Granny.
Wangshu Inn. Wangshu Inn.
Do you remember this place, Granny?
Yes. The fish here is very delicious. And if you look out into the distance, you can always spot a bird that's been left behind by its flock. I believe I used to have a room here. It had a window. Yes, I spent a lot of time looking out that window. Which room was it again? Let me look.
I'll come with. Paimon's still having some trouble understanding what she's talking about, but if she's so familiar with this place, that must mean she lived here, right? Wait, huh? Whoa! Shell! What are you doing here all of a sudden? You scared the living daylights out of Paimon!
I sensed a non-human presence and decided to come take a look. If you're here, then there's likely no trouble afoot. I suppose there's no cause for concern. It's been a while, Cloud Retainer. I see you have returned to your previous form. I have indeed. I fought alongside her in this form on many occasions during the Archon War.
Oh, wow! What was she like during the war? Oh, wait, let Paimon take a guess. Was it anything like this?
Paimon, she's gonna throw hands at you.
One's newest invention, the Bang Bang continuous fire mechanism. Hands up and surrender, or be prepared to face the full might of the Adepti.
An impressive imitation.
Paimon knows her all too well.
Even so, Cloud Retainer was not always as ostentatious as you describe. You may be unaware, but her talent with Adepti sigils is just as formidable as her skill in mechanics. The Archon War reached its peak after Guizhong's death. The Cloud Retainer who fought beside me in those devastating battles was taciturn and solemn, only speaking when she had to activate her sigils.
A Cloud Retainer who barely talks? Paimon can't picture it. But what happened after that? If you were so powerful in your human form, why did you decide to take up your bird form again?
Once one had bid farewell to the world of mortals, what use would one still have for such a shape? When dwelling between mountain and forest, away from the struggles and troubles of the mortal world, a mortal form is hardly the most fitting of choices.
After the war, Cloud Retainer retired to Mount Outsong, only revealing herself to the occasional visitor, and always in her avian form. Although I do believe there was an occasion some 30-odd years ago, when she decided to don her human form. I believe it was for the purpose of...
One believes there is little need to relive bygone
Go on, spill the
matters.
tea. Spill it.
Granny,
Spill it.
are you okay?
Back then, at this place,
Perhaps this conversation should end here.
Hey, wash up, fam. Hope you doing well, Red Heart.
Should you encounter any trouble, you need only call my name.
Hey, I hope you're doing
However,
well too.
given that you are traveling with Cloud Retainer, I trust you are in good hands.
Everyone! I think Granny is finally beginning to remember her past.
Slowly now, calm your mind and recount what has been recalled.
a long time ago, I stayed here to recuperate from my illness.
Huh. So what Shinto said was true! You did fall ill! Was that why you went into hiding?
I don't remember. I'm very sorry, but I can't even remember the name of my illness. The only thing I can remember is that it took a great toll on me, and there was no cure for it. I was confined to my room in Wangshu Inn, where I spent many days unconscious. I'd come to every once in a while and stare at the migrating birds outside the window. It was a solemn sight. I remember crying, but I'm not even sure I knew why. One day, I met a traveling merchant, Upon hearing of my illness, he sold me a bottle of soul-revitalizing tea pills. He told me that the pills were concocted using Adepti blood and could be used to alleviate my symptoms. Sure enough, I made a full recovery. My illness remained dormant for several decades after that.
Wait, but if your illness remained dormant for several decades, are you saying that what you're going through now is just a relapse of what happened all those years ago? And it was all
Sadly
thanks
catching
to the
up with
pills
her.
that you managed to keep the symptoms in check? Paimon's brain kinda hurts. Do you remember anything else?
I'm sorry, I don't. Oh, if only I wasn't so useless.
Hey, you're not useless. You've done so much for me. Watched me grow up. Raised me. How could you say that about yourself?
Oh, fret not, dear child. Granny was just a bit frustrated. That's all.
The recovery of a person's memories is a gradual process. Finding pieces of one's past is always superior to not finding anything at all. Let us make haste to the next location.
Next location. Next location. Oh, why don't we go to the area north of Dwayunkars next? There isn't really a landmark there, so where should we start? Oh, Paimon's got it. Let's check out the houses in the area first. After all, if she was
Actually, I do art for gamers and streamers. Like VTuber model, logo, banner, overlay, emotes, animation on everything related to Stria.
Oh, that's really cool.
The mortal plane of fleeting.
Oops, just killed Raiden.
I don't remember this place at all. I don't think I've ever been here before. Still, I was thinking. This place feels perfect for a game of hide and seek.
Huh? Why a game of hide and seek?
I'm not
Why not?
sure. Maybe it's because I used to play that game a lot with Shuyu when she was younger.
Oh.
I don't remember playing it that much. Are you sure about that, Granny? We only played a few times, and we stopped once we realized I was no good at the whole seeking part.
Ah, is that so? Then I must be mistaken.
Maybe it was one of her children.
Not here then. Let's try somewhere else.
Please forgive me, Raiden. I didn't mean to. Yeah, let's use these up. Quickly heal. Let's find the other spots.
remember anything about this place, Granny, you and I?
Hey Jay, how are you doing?
Think.
Hey,
I
I'm doing
feel
alright, and
like
yourself?
I've been here before, but I don't think I stayed here too long. I might have just rested here briefly before continuing on my
I'm
way.
doing well, thanks.
That's good to
There
hear.
are still plenty of other places we can check.
I hope you
Wait
have a good
second.
weekend.
If I remember correctly, I believe I brought... Ah, yes, I brought some sweet snacks with me. Go on, take some. You need to eat a lot if you want to grow big and strong.
Oh, thank you. Then Paimon will help herself.
Paimon, don't be rude. Don't take all the food. Oh, that's fair.
There's nothing
Yeah,
wrong
pretty
with
calm.
reaping a
Hope
reward
yours
every
was
now and
nice as well.
Yeah, it's been pretty good. Had a chill weekend. Gotta cook up a whole lamb roast tomorrow. But that shouldn't be too much work. And then probably do a bit more gaming and streaming.
That would be nice.
Hopefully, as long as I don't burn it.
Paimon sees an abandoned house. Why don't we take a break over there?
Trust it to be the last place that we go to.
This place... It's...
Did you remember something, Granny?
I remember. Shuyu. This is where your father was born. It was a moonless night. I had been injured, so your grandpa was supporting me. We fled together with some being in the fog behind us in hot pursuit. I had exhausted my strength when the labor pains came on, so we took refuge in this house. Your grandpa set up a barrier
That's a bit
outside,
rough.
but neither of us knew if it could hold the monsters back. I remember that night. I remember falling to my knees, reciting a prayer over and over. I alone am the source of this sin. Punish me as you wish for forsaking my oath, but spare.
How was the Yellen quest? I remember you were doing bows in between.
Currently haven't finished it because
I don't know.
it's currently locked.
don't
But because of
remember.
the
I
Cloud
only
Retainer
remember
quest, I
praying in
can't
the
finish
darkness with all my strength
the
until the
Benzo
sun
quest, and I
finally
can't
rose
finish his
again
quest.
and the
I can't
fog
finish the
cleared
Alien
out.
quest.
Eventually, the house was filled with
So
the sound
we haven't
of
done
my
those bits
baby's
yet.
first cries. That baby was your father.
Oh wow.
I clutched him tight to my chest and wept tears of joy. It was
Yeah,
the
that's
first
definitely
time
one of
I'd
the
ever
things. It's
felt
like you
such
really want to finish
happiness
those
in my
quests,
life.
but
My
because of
dad?
the other quests, I can't do that yet.
was my
So we have
pride
to
and
smash through
joy,
Cloud Retainer.
and
Once we've
so
done
are
Cloud
you,
Retainer, we can
Shuyu.
finish those other two.
You're so much like him, and I love you both so much. But you're always going to be different from me. Why? Just what did I do?
I don't care what you might have done, Granny. You'll always be the person I love more than anything.
You're too sweet, Shuyu. I'm lucky to have you with me. If not for you, I would not have had the courage to come here, to try to remember what I had forgotten.
Are you done with the events?
All right. Let's not stand around any longer.
Yes.
There's one place left. Yes. Let's
I
go take a
finished
look.
the sort of the fighting
If one
event,
recalls correctly, the next place should be
and
Chinyu
I
Peak.
finished
You and I. How fares your health?
the potion
I
quest.
may
When
be a
was
bit
it I did the
slow,
potion
but
quest? I
I'll do
finished
my
that on
best to
stream
keep up. I'm sorry to keep everyone waiting.
Climb on. I shall carry you to the top.
Finished that
Such
on
lightness of weight.
stream about 6 days ago.
Item 1 is pretty fast.
Grow frail in the end, do they not? First, you lose your memory, then your health. Eventually, you end up losing everything.
Yeah, the fighting
My
ones are
only
always
wish
quite
is to
easy
depart
just to
this
sort of
world with a lucid
smash through
mind.
just to farm for the primos.
Fret not. You have my aid in this endeavor.
I mean, I can't say no to some easy primos. Especially when I'm trying to get as many as possible for the banners in 4.6. Oh, had to be difficult, didn't it?
Yeah, me too.
Perhaps
Are you
whoever
trying to
left
save up
these
for any
behind
characters at the moment?
was also fulfilling a contract.
Every primo counts, lol.
Definitely. That whistling is so creepy, no matter how many times I hear it. It's just so eerie. Right behind us.
There's nothing wrong with reaping a reward every now and then.
We're finally here. Does this place feel familiar to you, Granny One Day?
Let me see. How strange. Have I lived here before?
I mean, I haven't
When
seen
we
any
were at
houses,
Wangshu
but
Inn and the abandoned house earlier, though I couldn't remember everything, I still felt a sense of familiarity. I could easily picture myself in those places. But here, I don't have that feeling. Perhaps I did come here in the past, but it just didn't leave a strong impression on me.
doesn't mean that much to you
Get
then.
it wrong then? Yeah, that's true. But they're also the only thing we have to go off of.
Sometimes
Paimon was
stories
hoping
aren't
this
always
place
the
would jog
truth.
Granny Wendi's memory just like the others.
I'm sorry to disappoint you two.
It's alright. We're not going to give up yet. We'll figure something else out. Just you wait.
Thank you. If only I could remember.
Don't worry, Granny. We'll make you remember.
Huh? That way. What's that mountain?
Oh, let Paimon look! Huh? Isn't that Mount Outsong? Looks like we've come full circle.
Mount Outsong. Mount Outsong.
Granny, are you okay? Don't push yourself, Granny. It's okay if you can't remember. You shouldn't do something that makes you sad.
Mount Outsong, What am I really?
Mount Outsong holds some familiarity to you?
It does, but I can't go back.
Are you feeling unwell?
My head, it feels all heavy and dizzy. What is wrong with me?
Cloud, Miss Yenyun, is there anything you can do?
I don't know. Yeah, you
Let
used
us
to
go
have
to
that
Mount
powers.
Outsong.
But
Fret not.
No buts,
All
Missy.
will be well. You and I, you have already given more than enough to the pursuit of this endeavor. You may leave the rest to me. I've prepared something that can aid you in suppressing the fear in your heart and restoring your lost memories. It currently resides at Mount Outsong.
wait, really? When did you do that?
I never leave anything to chance. All will reveal itself when we arrive.
What witchcraft have you got in place? Oh, sweet.
Next on the agenda.
Come on, just tell Paimon already! What's this thing you've prepared?
Just
Here,
man is flying
this is
there and they
it.
clinging onto us.
Huh? But isn't this the mechanism that you were tinkering with when we first got here? Oh, is it another invention of yours?
Really, Paimon?
Precisely. A recent one at that. I am most pleased with the result. I call it the Suspensus Somnium mechanism. It periodically releases a soft breeze, which when paired with a gentle adeptal tune, can help the listener subconsciously relax and even enter a semi-hypnotic state. Soothing agitation and anxiety,
That's what I
relieving
need, to be
exhaustion and
honest.
insomnia.
Did you play Spiral?
Uses are numerous indeed. And of course, it can also aid in the recovery of lost memories.
Yes, I do play Spiral Abyss.
Gadget!
I think it's recently reset, hasn't it? So I haven't done it recently, but I always do it just before it resets. Just try and grab as many primos as possible.
How preposterous. Had Yuendai not recalled much of her past through her own efforts, the device would have nothing to draw upon.
I think the reset is tomorrow.
Help those who first resolve to help themselves. Had she lacked
need to
such
double check how much
determination
I've
and
done then,
strength
because
of
that means I've been
character,
procrastinating
one would have
way
little
too
to
much and
offer
I've
in way
not
of
done any.
assistance.
Paimon thinks she gets it now. Hey, what's that other thing?
As previously mentioned, a gentle adeptal tune is required to take full advantage of the mechanism. One secured such a tune from Streetward Rambler. Only with her melodies
But
can the
thank you for
mechanism reach its
reminding me
peak
that.
power.
I will have a look, see if I have done it.
Oh, Paimon can feel it, you
I was asking just in case, so you don't lose some primogems.
Yes.
It's as if she's lying down on a warm patch
Need
of
to get them
grass
sweet, sweet
after a
primogems.
super satisfying meal.
Paimon already
And
have
you,
a nap.
you and I, is the mechanism helping you to relax?
She's about to fall asleep herself.
It appears she has already succumbed to the depths of reverie. Come, join one on this side. We shall give her some time to herself.
The drought is over. But why do you look like you want to cry?
The potion. It's nearly run its course.
I've never regretted meeting you. Not even for a second.
No.
Please. Please, no.
No.
Have you forgotten? This is the world you left behind. One of gentle breeze and morning dew, perfectly straddled betwixt the realms of heaven and earth. This is your home. This is where you belong. You should have never left. The you of the past, the me from not that long ago.
She's the adeptus that took her granddaughter to get healed. Oh, was not expecting that twist.
So that is the truth. No wonder this place is so familiar.
Granny! Granny, are you okay?
So that means her granddaughter's a quarter adeptus?
Your memories have returned.
Wait, did you just call her by her full name? Does that mean you already knew each other?
Yes. I now remember everything. Everything.
Granny, please don't cry. I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, don't worry, my dear child. Granny is fine. I'm so sorry, everyone. You've gone to so much trouble on my behalf. It's all come back to me now. The most important thing that I had forgotten was the truth of what I once was.
One can sense the guilt that now plagues your conscience. Reclaiming a truth long buried is sure to come with a myriad of complex emotions. Perhaps one should recount the story on your behalf while you compose yourself.
No, it's okay. Now that I've remembered, I must face my memories head on. Shuyu, everyone, I cannot thank you enough for all your help. I'm ready to tell you my story, if you're willing to listen.
Yeah, I'm hella willing to listen.
Force yourself. What happened in the past doesn't matter. I love you more than anything. Nothing you say can change that.
I know, dear child. My feelings for you are exactly the same. It is for this reason that you deserve to know the truth. Some time ago, I made a terrible mistake. One for which I could never atone.
Is this the sin that you mentioned in Dwayne Karst? What happened?
I am, in truth, not a human being. My real form, one that I held for centuries, was that of a wild crane. I spent many, many years living on Mount Outsong, bathing in the soft breeze and drinking the sweet dew of the mountains. At some point, I somehow gained wisdom and sentience. The Lord of the Mountain, Cloud Retainer, became aware of my existence and began to share many stories with me. She even passed on the secret of cultivation to me. Though she never took me on as a formal disciple, I always saw her as my master. Whenever she took out her tools to work on mechanisms or new inventions, I would also stand next to her and watch. I even contemplated completing my training and becoming an adeptus in my own right. I followed her teachings, and time gradually passed us by. Until that fateful day 50 years ago.
50 years ago?
The drought.
That's right. Master regaled me with many stories of her past deeds. From them, I learned how she had saved people from a similar crisis in the past. She was the one I looked up to the most. More than anything, I dreamt of becoming an adeptus like her. I wanted to travel the land like she had, relieving suffering wherever I went. But I was still far from being a real adeptus. I possessed no ability to take on human form and fit in with the crowd. Once she learned of my desires, Master prepared a special dose of human mimicry potion for me. She warned me that the potion's effects would only last 10 years, and if I were to fail to return to my original form at the end of that time, I would forever forget my past as a crane and become something neither human, beast, nor adeptus.
Oh.
Oh no. So that was the source of your dementia all along.
Was it because of Grandpa?
Indeed, I fell in love. Though he was human, he had spent his entire life training on Mount Tianheng. When we met, it was not only my first foray into the world below, but his as well. Although clumsy and impulsive as he was, you'd think he was the real strange bird among the two of us. But still, just like me, he cared deeply about the world and wanted, more than anything, to cleanse it of all pain and suffering. I could not help but fall for it.
Do you watch the Genshin streams?
Time continued to tick away.
Yes, I watch
Those
the
10
Genshin
years
live
passed
streams. I
by
always
in
try
a
and catch up
flash.
with them. If I can't
I did
watch them
not
live,
want
I
to
try and
leave
watch
his
them
side,
later on
so I...
via YouTube. Do you watch them?
Oh no. What happened next?
I committed an offense. I wanted to stay with him, even if it meant living a life full of pain and suffering, even if it meant that I would eventually turn into a monstrosity. I knew I had betrayed Master's hopes, but I was too ashamed to face her. So I wrote her a long letter instead and asked someone to leave it outside her abode. I was convinced that she would not support my decision, and I lacked the courage to speak to her face to face. In my shame, I fled and tried to hide from the world, such that no one would be able to find me again. But that was only the beginning.
Yes, I do, but always on YouTube because the live stream is too early for me.
My memories became hazy and confused, and I could no longer keep myself awake. I understood that my
they're
pain
always
was
about
caused
12 or
by my
1 for me, so
refusal
it
to
depends
return
if
to the life I was fated to lead.
I'm busy or not. If I'm busy, then I
Along
can't
with my
watch them
memories
live.
as a crane, I soon forgot the true cause of my suffering as well. I knew only that I had committed a sin. All I could do was pray for forgiveness, even if I had long forgotten what needed to be forgiven. Looking back, I was beyond lucky to have come across that traveling merchant at Wangshu Inn. It was such a fortunate coincidence that we were there at the same time. If it weren't for those soul
Cloud
revitalizing
Retainer,
tea
wasn't
pills,
it?
I probably would have...
Granny, what's wrong?
Coincidence? Why did I ever think it was a coincidence? Tea pills concocted using the blood of an adeptus?
It was Cloud Retainer.
It couldn't be. Master, don't tell me. Back then, that merchant was actually...
Human custom would dictate the conferral of gifts to be in order when one's progeny is wedded, would it not? Consider the pills a symbol of one's best wishes.
Oh.
So when I tried to conceal my name and mistakes from the world and hide myself away in perpetuity,
Your master always knows.
the only person I managed to deceive was myself. You knew where I was all along.
Right.
One still remembers when you were but a fledgling. You possessed a certain fondness for a particular game. You would hide yourself among a group of wild cranes and ask one to pick you out from among the flock. One found you with such ease every time. 'Tis a truth most evident. One always recognizes one's own, no matter what form they may take.
Cloud Retainer loves all of her children.
So, Cloud Retainer, you found Yuendai again? But how? When? And what happened after that?
Perhaps it is
She
now
does.
time for one to recount the rest of the tale.
She's always in denial that she doesn't like humanity, but she loves her children. Oh, you can't leave.
One
Check.
was furious upon receiving your letter. Seized with anger, one set out to bring you to your senses. In truth, one had more than a few misgivings about your chosen partner. As an exorcist, his talent was lacking. One could hardly say his skill with sigils was any better.
Dragging.
But soon, one came to appreciate the devotion he bestowed upon you during your illness. He never uttered a complaint and rarely left your side. Unwilling to begrudge someone of such character, one decided to overlook his aforementioned deficiencies, glaring though they may have been. Wishing to grant you a life without regrets, one gathered many divine ingredients and used one's own blood to create a form of medicine. Though imperfect, it managed to suppress the more dire effects of your illness. As for how to deliver the medicine, After much contemplation, one eventually decided to perform the deed oneself. One took great care to alter one's features and select the appropriate attire. Only after meticulous scrutiny did one finally set out for Wangshu Inn. As one expected, you were most ignorant of one's true identity. You showed not even the slightest inkling of recognition. One was quite torn. Should one have celebrated the success of one's disguise, or mourn the loss of your acquaintance?
Yeah! Skyward!
Oh, I probably shouldn't have done that.
Skyward!
There we go. Oh, chest, I love chests.
Nevertheless, one would speak to you about another matter, if you are amenable. Even considering your loss of memory, one was simply flabbergasted that you could so easily forget the consequences of consuming medicine infused with Adeptal blood. Its proclivity to attract monsters is hardly that complicated of a concept to remember. To think that you tried to travel while weak from...
For how long have you been streaming? If you don't mind.
To clear the fog, all of you would have been lost during the night.
As in tonight, or like, when did I sort of start streaming?
Scatter! Skyward! Skyward!
Gray clouds converge!
Since when?
I actually first started streaming when I was 18, so about 8 years ago, but I never like properly did it. I only did it once or twice. I started up again when Genshin,
Those
probably about
would hardly have
2-3 years ago. Actually, 3 years ago.
They were likely
And then
by the
I
presence of
moved,
godly
and then I
remains.
just didn't have the time, so I kind of had a bit of a 2-year break,
Said
so I'd
godly
started again
remains,
from
in
like this
turn,
year.
Were likely drawn to the trace of one scent on your body. One was, after all, an active participant in the Archon War. Some of the gods were likely shattered by contraptions of one's very making. In the end, one was relieved to see you endure through the night. At the break of dawn, one heard an infant's cry pierce through the air, and one saw you carefully cradle the child to your chest. Although certain mortal matters remain foreign to me,
I thought you were new when I first saw your channel.
to see you happy.
Yeah, I think that's because I was sort of like stream for a while, and then because I didn't stream for a long time, obviously people sort of forget about your channel, and because of that it sort of becomes a bit inactive, so that's 100% on my
now
fault.
You should have a complete understanding of the events.
Wait, but if that's true, then the crane who took care of me when I was sick must also be...
Ah, one had almost neglected to recount the absurdities of that tale.
I don't usually watch Genshin streams, only you now and another person.
Oh, thank you.
Just as you and I troubled one with her antics,
I do want to try and
so
get
did
back
you give
into
one
streaming
many a
other games,
headache.
but I've been really into
Upon
obviously
finding you
Honkai
burning with fever,
and Genshin at the
one
moment,
made
so
plans to bring you back to one's abode for treatment. However, upon seeing one's form, you began to cry,
I suppose
refusing
once
to get on one's back.
this sort of streaming
When
events
one
on, I will
asked you
try and
why-
stream other games again.
Apparently, you believed that one could not possibly be a true Adeptus because all illuminated cranes are white from tip to toe. One had no choice
You can stream any game as long as you have fun.
to conceal the variegated nature of one's appearance. You became more than amenable enough when one stood before you devoid of any other coloring. It bears mentioning, however, that as a crane, Yuan Dai was nearly entirely pure white in color. Though you had never encountered
Yeah, that's the
her
thing.
in
Obviously,
that
you definitely
form,
have to be
you
having
still
fun when you're streaming the
recognize
game, because
essence
if you're
of her
not
being.
having fun, it shows, and
Perhaps
obviously it
fate
kind of puts
brought you
people
two
off.
together in
So I
more
always
ways
try and
than
have
one.
fun or play games that my followers have suggested so that we can laugh at the chaos that ensues.
Now all has been revealed. One owes you an apology, Yuan Dai. One recognized you upon your very entrance into Wanmin Restaurant. One has always viewed you as a disciple of equal standing with Ganyu and Shenhe. Indeed, one wished to bring your story to a satisfactory end with this visit to Liyue Harbor. Still, one could not reveal your identity right away. Had one simply...
Yes, some people lose that fun when they start to stream because they see no interaction with people.
Fictionalized account of another.
Yes,
Memories
I
are
see
most
that a
meaningful when
lot,
recalled by those
especially
who
with
lived
like a lot
through
of
But at
the
the end of
streaming
the day, you
forum
should
and
have fun.
Even if the process
forums
was
that I'm in,
painful and
and
arduous to experience.
some of the people get so...
Have you any
I don't
further
know how to put it across,
inquiries?
but they get really
Master,
upset or really angry that they're not getting followers,
I must
they're not
ask,
getting
if
interactions,
you
and not many
found me
people are
all
watching
those
them.
years ago,
Because they're putting
why
that
did you
energy
leave
out
me
when they're
be,
streaming,
even
people are
though
going to
you
jump
knew
onto
about
their
my
streams,
mistake?
see that they're getting
Why
irritated
did you
because
not
no
bring
one's
me back to
interacting
Mount
with their
Outsong by force?
streams, and again, that
One
puts
has
people
never
off. So
regarded your
I've always
action
been
as a
much more, I'm like
mistake.
really grateful
It was a
with
simple choice.
anyone that watches my
Nothing
streams.
more.
If no one
When it is
watches my
time for
streams,
one's progeny
I'm still
to
going to
leave the
put the
nest,
same energy
it
out
is the
as
responsibility
if
of an
100
elder
people
to let
watch
them
my
fly
streams.
free.
Because
Yet,
you
when
sort
your
of,
wings
what you
grow
put out
weary
is
and the
what you
night
end up
grows
receiving.
dark, just know that you always
If
have
you
a
can't be
place
your
to which to
authentic
return.
self while streaming,
'Tis a
then
refuge referred to by many
That
it
is
can
the
be
right
off-putting.
attitude.
home, nest, haven. Whatever its denomination may be, its essence remains quite unchanged. One speaks, of course, of a place not unlike one's own abode.
Like, I
One's
know every
disciples
time that
are
I
free to
stream,
come and go as they
there's
wish.
always one person
Yet the
that
door
always watches my
remains
stream.
forever open to
They
those
never
who
speak
wish
to me at all,
return.
but I'm always grateful that
One
every
rather
time I
hopes you
stream,
count yourself
they're
among
always
them.
on watching it, and I really appreciate
Thank
it.
you. I just... Thank you so much.
You and I. One expects you too have sensed the rapid deterioration of your
That is always nice.
Have you not?
Yeah, it's always
40
nice
years
to have the
ago,
support.
You chose a path without a future.
And it's always nice that
Though
they
one
come
used
on.
one's
They
own
don't say
blood
anything,
to
but they
provide
watch
you
it,
with a
and I
few
appreciate it,
decades of
because
extra
obviously they
time.
must enjoy my content.
It merely delayed the inevitable. One may have extended the path, yet one was unable to alter its final destination. Even the power of an adeptus has its limits. Had your condition continued to deteriorate, you would have forgotten your life as a human entirely. In the end, you would have turned into a creature lacking in the ability to even comprehend its own monstrousness. Fortunately, you were able to avoid that scenario by reclaiming your memories. Though one sped the process along by providing some guidance, the result is entirely a reflection of your own effort.
So, what's gonna happen to Granny?
She should be okay now, I hope.
One will help her reclaim her original form as a wild crane. If it be fated, she may recover her sentience one day.
She's gotta go back to being a regular crane, huh?
Well, it's either that or she becomes a monster.
Master, you've already done more than enough for me. I don't know how I could possibly repay your kindness. This is a better result than I could have ever hoped for. How much time do I have left?
Not long. The transformation is imminent.
Granny. Please don't leave, okay? You're all I have left. Please.
Don't be sad, dear child. Granny has led a wonderful life. My only regret is having to leave you behind. Don't forget to eat well, okay? A growing young lady like yourself needs lots of good food to grow big and strong. Promise Granny you'll take good care of yourself when I'm gone.
Help the grandchild end up traumatizing her.
I'll do whatever you say.
Good girl. Good girl. Don't worry. It's not goodbye forever. Granny's gonna become the most formidable crane in all of Mount Outsung. Granny will train day and night. I won't stop until I can turn into a human without having to rely on anything but my own power. When that day comes, we'll be able to live together again. You and I. How's that sound?
Commentator, you better adopt this child.
Even though we won't see each other for a little while, as long as we both work hard, we're sure to meet again someday.
I'll eat well, Granny. I promise. And I'll wait for you, no matter how long it takes. I'll wait for you to come back.
That's a good girl. Then Granny really has no more regrets. I'm so sorry, Master. Thank you for everything.
I'm really sorry, kid. We really didn't mean to traumatize you.
Lol.
Yeah, we'll help you get your grandma back, but now we've fully made you an orphan. Oops.
Shiryu.
God damn it, Paimon, this is your fault.
At her age, crying is a natural, if not fitting, response to such an event. Tears are a necessary part of maturation. Sometimes there is scarcely a better vehicle to wash away the toll of stress and misery. Now that the issue has been resolved, you should also take a moment to relax. Give yourself some time to rest. Take a nap if you must. One will wake you in due time.
Oh, thank you. Should we just nap on this grass right here? Calculated just adopting children left, right, and centre. It's Granny Crane. That was some quick training, wasn't it? Oh no, this is just a dream. Brother, you finished abandoning me now.
I always believed we would see each other again, that our days of separation would finally end, and all my troubles would be behind me. If only things could stay this way forever.
and then we wake up.
A nightmare? Curious. If you're relaxed, shouldn't your dreams be pleasant?
It was a good dream. It's just...
You weren't ready to wake up. Eloquent as one may be, words of comfort are not one's strong suit. You are doing all you can. One can see your strength of will, your fearlessness in the face of danger. And so, whatever your dream may be, one believes that you shall achieve it. Of course, whenever the perils you face overwhelm you, or you become weary, one is always here for you. After
Cloud
all,
Retainers has
as an
added us
elder,
to her number of
They
children.
spoiling the end with that dream.
That's the thing, it could be like that. Or they could do a complete 360 and it end up just being really dark, really sad, and there's just no happy ending.
Was Paimon sleeping just now? Oh, Paimon wasn't talking to you.
Yeah.
Paimon had a dream about eating grilled chicken drumsticks, that's all. Madam Adeptus? Oh, Shuyu, you're awake. How do you feel? I feel a little better. Thanks. I know I'll see Granny again someday, so I don't feel so sad anymore. Madam Adeptus, could I ask you something? Would you take me in as a disciple?
Oh. And have you reasons for this sudden
She
interest?
wants to join as one of your many
I know
children.
Granny thought what she did back then was wrong. She felt really bad about it. But without that mistake, I would have never been born. Even though Granny lost her memories, she never forgot to show me how much she loved me. So, I thought maybe one day I could become a cool Adeptus like you and help a whole bunch of people, just like Granny wanted to do.
Upon some reflection, one supposes you are no mere mortal. The fact that Yuendai's blood flows through your veins is proof enough of that. If this is what you desire, one shall make it so.
Thank you so much, Madam Adeptus. No, I mean... Master. Shuyu, are you sure about this?
I mean, where else are you gonna go, Paimon?
Secret, we've seen Cloud Retainer's 2 other disciples, and they pretty much eat nothing but bitter herbs like chin-chin and violet grass. If you join them, you'll never enjoy one main restaurant's delicious cooking ever again.
How utterly preposterous. One has never enforced such a rule. Every individual must find their own path to enlightenment. So long as one retains a pureness of spirit, one's dietary proclivities are quite irrelevant.
Well, you say that, but Paimon's not seeing any tasty treats up here now, is she?
Don't be rude, Paimon, she's gonna get you
Although
one of
Mount
these days.
Outsong is rich in natural beauty, its location does preclude access to certain finer mortal comforts. That is precisely why one plans to relocate to Liyue Harbor. Shuyu shall have the honor of becoming one's first disciple in the human world.
Whoa, you're leaving Mount Outsong?
One has never concerned oneself with the location of one's residence. From the very beginning, one
Do you like the main story so far?
Yet
Yes.
in the end, all of one's disciples
Did really
ended
quite
up
like
in Liyue
Fontaine.
Harbor.
Sumeru, I wasn't 100% sure on. The characters didn't grip me as well. Inazuma I quite liked. Liwei I quite liked. Mondstadt I quite liked.
One can only assume that it is due to
Natalia?
some failing on one's
I'm
part
quite
as
looking
an
forward to the
elder
story
or
of that. That looks quite
master.
good.
A failing, perhaps, of recognizing what it was they truly wanted. One is most curious as to what aspect of Liyue Harbor could have enticed
Have you been enjoying the main story?
One could hardly offer an opinion on the matter, but perhaps some time in the harbor will prove instructive. Why are you all so silent?
We've been listening to you really intently.
Is just a bit shocked, that's all. So, does this mean we can grab a meal together in Liyue Harbor sometime?
No, Paimon. Do you really think she's going to
One
say no
has
to that?
precious little time to squander. However, if one finds oneself otherwise unoccupied, one would not be opposed to the idea. One will be assuming the identity of a human while residing in Liyue Harbor. You should take care to avoid disclosing one's true identity.
I'm pretty sure people are going to work out who you are,
Don't
Cloud
worry,
Retainer.
we'll help you keep it a secret. So, when can we expect to start seeing you in the city?
Perhaps in 2 days' time.
Yes, I'm always interested on it.
Preparation is the key to success, after all. One plans to put up various items from one's collection for sale. The earnings should provide for a comfortable living in Liyue Harbor. One has already picked out a handsome property near Chuhu Rock. 'Tis no small purchase, but what is mortal life if not one
Fontaine was pretty good in my opinion.
Yeah, the Fontaine story was really good. That really gripped me. I was just playing it constantly. Obviously, I believe in 4.6 we're getting more story content, which will lead into the new region, so I'm really looking forward to that.
Oh, also, why don't you take this suspense somnium mechanism as a souvenir? Anytime you should feel ill at ease in the future, you may try quieting your mind and sitting in meditation as you listen to its melodies. It might help you find a new perspective.
Awesome! Thanks, Cloud Retainer! Hey, didn't we promise Shincho that we'd tell him what we found out? Should we make a trip to the Feiyun Commerce Guild? It's totally up to you.
I mean, it's not long for us to wait now. I think, it's about 27th, 20th, round about then is when we'll get the new update. But we'll get the live stream about 7 days before that. Was it 7 or is it 2 weeks before that? Well, a little before that, and that'll normally tell us what's going to come up, but I suspect it's going to be a story.
Time with this.
Around 1 week.
Yeah, I was having a little bit of mental blank. I was like, is it 2 weeks or was it a week before? I was like, if it was 2 weeks, it would have been announced, so it's definitely a week.
Valuables. Such intense scrutiny is hardly necessary.
To be quite honest, your insistence on that fact is my primary cause for concern. In what way are any of these ordinary? Every single item here could be worth more than everything I own combined. I simply can't risk shelling out that kind of mora without proper scrutiny. If I'm wrong, I would never be able to earn it back, not even if I worked every single day for the rest of my life. I have to be careful. Yes, you can never be too careful.
We're here, Cloud. Miss Shenyan, what are you guys arguing about?
Goodness, Paimon, you're not really good at
Perfect
keeping people
timing.
undercover.
This ignoramus is, these items have remained untouched in my personal collection for several hundred years. To question their legitimacy is pure folly.
Several hundred years?
Indeed. They're family heirlooms, you see, passed down over many generations, as families are wont to do.
Yep, they've definitely been around a while. We can vouch for her on that one.
Yeah, you can trust us,
Hear
wink
that?
wink.
Had I not found myself in need of Mora, I would scarcely have had the heart to part with them. Indeed, you should consider it an honor to even have the opportunity to behold them with your own eyes. Doubt their authenticity any further, and I may just decide to take them to another buyer.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Please don't go! I apologize for any
Bye,
insult,
we're gone.
miss. You see, I know full well that I lack the knowledge to judge the true worth of these items. If you could wait but a moment, I've hired an expert to appraise them for me. He should be here shortly.
An expert?
It'll be
you say?
strongly.
Very well. I will wait for a little while longer. Then.
Anything it's strongly.
Traveler, Paimon, this is my new residence. If you have cause to seek my company in the future, this is where you can find me.
Master! Oh, it's you two again.
Oh, she's got a new outfit.
Shiryu! You got a new outfit! It looks great on you.
Got the red. Always got the signature
Master
for red.
made it for me. I like it too.
Huh? You know how to make clothes?
She's been around for hundreds of years. Of course she
Do
knows
I
how to
know
make her own clothes.
With the support of the proper mechanism, sewing is hardly a challenge.
Master, I brought in most of my stuff. There's a few boxes left, but they're kind of heavy, so I just left them outside.
Fret not. I shall help you move them into your room.
Actually, I should probably sort through my stuff a bit first. Everything's kind of messy right now, so maybe you could not look yet, Master?
Doesn't want her adoptive mother to be disappointed in her.
It appears my young apprentice has her own fair share of secrets. No matter. Do what you must, child. Now, this expert you mentioned. When can we expect their arrival?
Soon.
He'll be here any moment.
There he is.
Shortly.
Here, allow me to make some introductions.
I knew it.
This
I
is
knew
Mr.
it,
Zhongli,
Zhongli.
a well-respected consultant at Wangshang Funeral Parlor and an expert in all manner of valuables and antiques. Mr. Zhongli, this
Hello,
is Miss
goodbye, old
Shen Yu.
friend.
She's the one who's looking to sell the collection of valuables I mentioned earlier.
Huh.
If it isn't Miss Shenyun. It has been quite some time since our last meeting. What a serendipitous reunion.
At least he knew her mortal name.
Indeed, most serendipitous. Have you been faring well as of late, Mr. Zhongli?
Quite well, thank you. I was fortunate enough over the past few days to enjoy both a stroll in the mountains and a fresh brew of tea from the most recent harvest. The experiences left me with such insight and peace.
Huh. So you two are already
Yeah, they're
acquainted?
besties, don't worry about it.
Indeed. How fortunate we are that fate has brought us together again. If you are otherwise unaware, allow me to inform you that Miss Shenyun is a well-regarded collector and appraiser. She is well-versed in all fields, and oft-celebrated for her impeccable taste. You stand to gain much from this opportunity.
You are too kind, Mr. Zhongli. True collectors pride themselves on their wealth of knowledge and eye for detail. I can say without a doubt that you are
Traveler's
foremost
eyes
in
just
that
looking
regard.
like, don't say anything,
Why,
Paimon. Don't
you
blow
flatter
it.
me, Miss Shenyun. It would seem that you are as self-effacing as ever.
Not at all, Mr. Zhongli. Not at all.
While I am loath to butt into this conversation, I must ask, you two already knew each other, and you seem to have quite a cordial relationship. Can I be certain that you're not...
As I said, they're
working together
besties.
to swindle me? I mean, you never know.
Huh! A preposterous accusation. The heavens themselves would collapse before we would conspire to do such a thing.
Miss Shenyun speaks the truth. Contracts are built on honesty and trust. If that proves to
Yeah,
be
you're
beyond your
literally
capabilities
insulting
in
the
this
god
instance,
of
this
contracts.
transaction may be taken elsewhere.
Say no more. Let us depart.
I jest. What fool would still harbor doubts after Mr.
Oh, you've just
Zhongli
lost the sale,
himself
man.
has vouched for the goods?
He's gone.
Miss Shenyun, wait.
She's long gone.
deeply
You've lost out,
apologize
man.
for doubting you. So, Mr. Zhongli, could you please give me a final verdict on the value of these items?
They're
There is no
priceless.
cause for
Hand
concern.
over all of your Mora.
They are indeed rare and precious valuables. Take this mechanism, for instance.
Maybe the live stream will be on the second Friday of April.
Its structure and appearance are exquisite enough to merit it a place in any fine home. The same can be said for this one here. Few could hope to possess an item that so perfectly blends
Yeah, it'll
mechanical
probably be around
wonder
about the 12th
with
or the
geometric
19th.
grace. I am sure you have heard from your travels that the study of mechanisms is among the most wondrous arts in this world. With that in mind, I earnestly recommend
I
procuring
really
every
can't
last
wait to see
item in
what
this
they say is
collection.
going to be announced.
All right. Since I hired you as my consultant, Mr. Zhongli, I shall, of course, trust your good opinion.
Of course, we
Then
know one of
in
the
that
5
case,
stars are
Miss
coming, but
Shinyan,
it's more
I'll
the
take the
excitement for
lot.
the quests and stories.
However, since the final sum is quite large, how about we start with an initial deposit through the Northland Bank?
Does she even have a bank
the
account?
Northland Bank? Huh. Oh, you refer to the fiduciary house. Oh, very well.
I fear people only use the term bank nowadays. In that case, I'll be off for now. I'll return to collect the goods once you've received the funds.
Zhongli!
Hey, old time.
My friends, have you been doing well?
We've been great. How about you?
Yeah, the next one comes with more content than the actual update.
Yes,
My days
I
have been
hope
quite
so.
pleasant as well. I had been quietly enjoying a cup of tea when Mr. Xiaozu requested my services.
That's good. The
As
non-contact
for you, Miss
times are quite good
Shinyan,
for doing quests like this
I
to sort of
presume you
catch
must
up.
be looking to settle in the city?
That's why I try and
must
sort of
say,
save
the
story
name
quests, because
Shenyang
when it's
sounds
quiet periods there
exceedingly
isn't much to
strange
do.
coming from you. Perhaps you could dispense of that particular epithet in further conversation.
Whatever for. Am I not addressing you as a friend should?
Well, that is true, but... Alas, refer to me however you will. After all, a name exists such that others may address you with it. One is hardly ignorant of that fact.
It would seem that you have gained many valuable insights over the years, Cloud Retainer.
One has indeed. One's previous stays were all brief. Now that one has made up one's mind to move and settle, one has gained a much better appreciation of the hubbub and commotion of the city, as well as the people's hard work and ardor. This city is much changed from how it was more than 1,000 years ago.
Not unlike the ocean tides, so too shall the movement of people ebb and flow. From turmoil to peace, enlightenment to aspiration. Human society possesses limitless potential.
Hopefully you stream on those days, and we can talk about it.
May change in ways
Yes,
that
if
are
it's a Friday then yeah,
impossible
definitely
for
I'll
either
be
of us
streaming
to
about
imagine.
in that same time we can sort of discuss and talk about what we saw.
You make a valid point, Paimon.
Because that's
Now
what I'm
that
trying
the
to do
sale
is
is
obviously
concluded,
definitely stream
what say
Fridays
one
and
plays the
Saturdays,
host as we try some
and then
specialty
maybe a
dishes
couple of
together?
streams during the
One
week.
must profess great interest in trying bamboo shoot soup.
Perhaps you have forgotten, Cloud Retainer, but I once tried my hand at that dish.
It was an
You were at
abomination.
the table on that occasion, so logic dictates that you should have already tried it.
Oh? What occasion was this?
It was a reunion between friends several centuries ago. Alas, you must have been too preoccupied to secure yourself a portion. Or perhaps our other companions simply availed themselves of faster reflexes on that occasion.
Hardly. 'Twas most certainly out of consideration for the others in attendance. In but a moment, one will show you what it means to have a true deftness of hand. It is settled then. Bamboo shoot soup, mora meat, crab roe tofu, triple-layered consommé. We shall
She's having a
enjoy the lot.
feast.
One has already passed word to Shenhe and Ganyu to make a reservation. It is prime time for them to meet one's newest disciple. Is that agreeable to everyone?
Yep, Chop Shop, if you're paying, we're coming.
It should be a most splendid occasion.
Shu Yu, come now, it is time to dine. Ah, this gentleman over here is Mr. Zhang Li. He is...
An old friend?
A humble employee of Wangsheng Funeral Parlor. Pleased to make your acquaintance.
Nice to meet you too, Mr. Zhengli.
That should be everyone, right? Let's go!
Sounds good. Actually, Master, have you ever tried Adeptus' temptation? I heard it's impossible to stop eating after even just one bite. You know, 'cause it's super tempting and stuff. Is that true?
That sounds rather implausible. Although with the right preparation, certain dishes can be too delicious to resist.
Huh? Why are you all walking so fast? Hey, wait for Paimon!
I mean, you're the one flying Paimon, isn't it easier for you? Whoa, we can finish the other ones. But first up, how badly have I neglected?
She always complain and I ask the same lol.
Oh yeah, I've been neglecting that. I need to do some Spiral Abyss before it resets. That's the thing, Paimon always complains about all the walking, but it's like, you're flying, isn't it easier for you? Oh, we can finally finish this one.
Jialiang. 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 Dad, are you awake?
Oh, he's alive?
Jiangli, are you? Didn't I...
I thought he died.
What are these?
How does it feel to come back to life?
Do you feel strange or different in any way? If so, could you describe it to me in
What
detail?
witchcraft did you cast?
Dr. Baishu, I thought that I was going to...
Die? You did indeed. As things stand now, you're more akin to a zombie than a human.
I'm a zombie?
That's right. Before we set off, I asked Chi-Chi to prepare an elixir of immortality. With its help, you have been suspended in the space between life and death.
That's why he's got talismans all over
this is but a
him.
crude imitation of an Adeptus art. I don't expect it to extend your life indefinitely. Whether it will keep you alive for a few days, a few months, or a few years, I am as interested as you to find out. But, however long you have left, I believe it should be more than sufficient time for you to say your final goodbyes before departing the world in peace. I hope that Director Hu finds this arrangement to be a satisfactory one.
Hu Tao's just rubbing her hands in glee,
immortality?
waiting.
How'd you cook that up? Ugh. Leave it to you to work on something like that behind my back.
It's a work in progress that hardly lives up to its name, and it would have had no effect were it not for Jialiang's iron will. In the end, I am merely a doctor. I understand very little of the great principles governing life and death, and the perpetual cycle of yin and yang. All I know is that if I'm presented with a life that deserves to be saved, I will do everything in my power to save them. And even this would have counted for nothing without Director Hu's assistance. After all, did you not tell Jia Liang to show us the way before we set off for Qingsa village?
Oops. And I'm busted.
Without
Hu
Director
Tao was
Hu
just waiting for a
nudging
new
things in
customer.
the right direction, we may not have found Jiang Li in time.
No wonder he didn't mention the elixir back then. I thought he was being frank and transparent with me for once, but apparently not.
Director Hu told me to keep her suggestion a secret, but it seems nothing escapes Dr. Baiju's attention.
Never underestimate a serpent's sense of smell.
All I wanted was to help Jialiang find his missing wife as soon as possible, so that he could be on his way to the afterlife without any unfulfilled wishes making the journey more difficult than it needs to be. Leave it to Boo Boo Pharmacy to snatch the perfect opportunity right out of my hands at the last hurdle. Never mind. I'll just have to put it down in the books as a deferred consideration. One Chi-Chi was enough of a conundrum. The last thing I need's another one.
Don't be mean about Chi-Chi.
I'd have whisked him off to the Wangsheng funeral parlor the
It's not
moment I
Chi-Chi's
found
fault.
him.
You stay away from my dad. When I grow up, I'm gonna become an even better doctor than Mom and Baiju, and cure Dad for good.
Good dream, kid. Good
Is
dream.
that right? Well, you wouldn't be the first person who's tried to put Wangsheng funeral parlor out of business. If you're serious about it, you'll have your work cut out for you. Traveler, Paimon.
Cute
I'll
house like
catch you all
Ton
another
Nook.
time.
Rubbing their hands, waiting.
Is she finally gone?
All's well that ends well. If you ask Paimon, we should probably do something to celebrate this hard-earned family reunion. At times like this, a grand celebratory feast is in order.
It feels like it was a whole lifetime ago when I last talked with Zhongli and Ayu around the dinner table.
Yay! Paimon can't wait! Alright, first things first, off to the market for some fresh ingredients. Let's go!
Wait up! I'll come too!
Baiju, thank you so much for everything you've done for us.
Don't mention it, Jiangli. I was just doing my duty.
Just your duty, huh? Baiju, Changsheng, would you mind if we took this conversation outside?
Oh, where is she? There she is.
Time flies. It's been so long since we bade each other farewell in Chenyu Vale. Changsheng, you're the same as ever. You haven't changed one bit.
You, on the other hand, have changed a lot.
You're right. My younger self would have never imagined that things would one day turn out this way. Or that you'd turn out this way, Baiju.
What's that meant to mean?
Check this code in case you haven't claimed. YXEA 3 Bultura 9D.
Oh, thank you. I will check that.
I've taken a look at your elixir of immortality. It's not altogether dissimilar from the poison I concocted in terms of the way it functions.
I have to say, Jiangli, it was a stroke of genius to use poison to maintain life. I hope you're not too upset at me for copying your methods.
No, not at all. With your intellect, even if you'd never seen my poison, I believe you would have eventually arrived at the same approach. But I'm still impressed by how quickly you managed to gain such a thorough understanding of it. Jialiang's still only been in your care for a few days. Not just that, you even managed to improve upon the original formula. That cannot be explained by intellect alone. Baiju, be honest with me. Did you try out some of the poison on yourself?
Huh. Told you the truth would surface sooner or later.
Life force isn't the only thing that Changsheng's contract lets you transfer between bodies, is it?
Nothing gets past you, Jiangli. You are correct. Besides life force, Changsheng's secret art also allows for the transfer of toxins and diseases. When I treated Jia Liang for the second time, I transferred some of the poison from his body into my own. Not only did this allow me to alleviate the burden on him, but it also gave me an opportunity to study its properties. There is
Shown
no
that
need
it's
to worry about
redeemed
any
it, so I
long-term
don't think
consequences
I'd
to
used
my
that one
health,
before,
however.
so thank you for that.
Now that the source has been destroyed, any remaining poison in me will have already dissipated.
But you took such a huge risk. If we hadn't destroyed the god's remains back there, then even you might have... What am I saying? I'm in no position to criticize you for this. The reason I left our master and went into hiding all those years ago was that he was getting old, and I didn't want him using up any more
It's okay.
life force to treat my husband. But in the end, how were my methods any different? I risked one life to save another, and then you tried the poison on yourself too. It looks like both of us have ended up going
Genshin.
the
Sometimes
same
release
way
so
as
many
our
codes
master
and you
before
miss so
us.
many of them.
Are all disciples of Genshin Vale destined to turn out this way? To live a short life, having given away our own for the sake of others? To fight relentlessly against the natural course of life and death, whatever the cost?
Gotta get
Maybe
those
our
sweet,
fate is
sweet
sealed
primos.
the moment we decide to study medicine.
We are doctors, Jiangli. We ought never say that anyone's fate is sealed.
Baizhu, I can tell that, over the years, you've used the contract with Changshang to transfer many diseases and toxins to yourself. There are so many that, some of them, I don't even recognize. Can you still stop before it's too late?
Yeah, I mean, otherwise you're gonna die, man.
I think you know the answer, Jiangli. Every one of us from Chenyu Vale believes in the same thing.
Hey, food's ready!
That
Mom,
was quick. I
come
hope
and
you don't
join
get
us.
food poisoning.
The Traveler taught me a load of new recipes, and said even Dad'll be able to taste them. Come and try them out.
Yes, darling. Mom will be there in just a second. Hey, slow down. Baizhu, I know I won't be able to convince you, but please don't forget that if one day you're not around anymore, Chi-Chi, Gui, and all the friends who have grown fond of you, they will all miss you dearly.
There's no need to worry, Jiangli. I know what I'm doing.
I can only hope so.
Baizhu, what did Jiang Li mean by not around anymore? Every single mortal
Spill.
I've ever contracted with, including Baizhu and Jiang Li's master, has passed away at a young age. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. You said that the contract with you helps people live longer.
It is a very long story.
Long ago, when plagues ravaged the land, one doctor made a pledge to rid the world of pain and suffering. But even the most ingenious mortal medicine could not stay the tide of disease. And after working tirelessly for many years, even his dearest loved ones fell sick and bade their final farewell. Legends told of an herb lord in Chenyu Vale who could cure any illness known to mankind. The doctor sought the herb lord, but found only a white snake, its breathing weak and its power all but spent.
Sign this contract and let our lives be joined. Then I will impart to you the secret art of healing. But be warned, this art will harm your own health.
With means beyond human ken, the doctor could now reverse the process of death. And yet, the time still came to say goodbye. Only now, the one departing was the doctor, his life force spent. His final act in life was to pass on the contract to his final patient, his favorite disciple. The disciple chose to dedicate their life to saving the lives of others. And generation upon generation followed in these footsteps.
So yeah, you could have a long life if you didn't heal anyone.
Since I inherited this contract, I've always respected the path taken by my predecessors, and followed it myself unquestioningly. That is, until I tried to use the art to save my own disciple's beloved. She begged me not to use up my own life force. She said that this art is a poison chalice, an evil and unnatural practice. She did not wish to sacrifice one life for the sake of another, when both were lives she treasured. Only then did it occur to me. Did I not suffer when my master passed away, just as patients' families do at their loved one's deathbed? Are not the lives cut short by this contract just as worthy of saving as any patients? What is this contract to us? Medicine or poison? Alas, I no longer have enough time left to find the answer. I entrust to your care both Changsheng and this final question. May you find a remedy for this conundrum, which has ailed us so.
Time and again, no matter how much I try to warn them or balance their chi, I can never save them. And you? What's your answer?
If I abandoned the contract and left you without a host, what would happen?
I suppose I'd spend my final moments taking a nice nap on Mount Yaojin. Then I'd be reunited with my old friends and your predecessors.
Then it's decided. If there's a life in front of me that deserves to be saved, why shouldn't I do everything within my power to save it?
Once again, it's the same answer. So be it. Close your eyes. Who knows how many more people will take on this contract?
None. This contract will end with me.
Oh.
My contract has strict requirements on the host's natural temperament. All my hosts have been most pure of heart.
But when one with an altruistic nature gains access to this art, they are more seduced than the average person by the miracle of overturning the laws of life and death. Though they know better than anyone else the fate that awaits them, when faced with the sorrows of humanity and the pain of losing their nearest and dearest, they cannot help but reach beyond human means. They are like moths that throw themselves into the flame, seeking a glimmer of hope in a dark world filled with pain and suffering.
So, Baiju, does that mean...
I suppose that would make me a moth that yearns for the light, but doesn't want to be burned to a crisp. Changsheng's art can transfer pain and suffering between people, but it cannot reduce the total amount of pain in the world. It's just like we witnessed. Either Jia Liang feared for Jiang Li's life, or Jiang Li grieved over Jia Liang's sacrifice. I have nothing but the utmost respect for my predecessors, who sacrificed their lives for their principles. But I do not wish to join their ranks, nor do I wish to pass on this contract to anyone else in the future.
So basically, the contract will die with him and no one else.
Didn't you already transfer a ton of diseases onto yourself?
What makes a poison, poison? And what makes a disease a disease? When it comes down to it, are not both mechanisms that affect the operations of the human body? If disease is defined as deviation from normal functioning, then who knows? Perhaps the true elixir of immortality could in fact be a kind of poison. Many may view the notion of searching for immortality in poisons and illnesses as a flagrant violation of the natural order.
Untreatable diseases.
But to me, It is no different from the way our ancestors tested the medicinal qualities of herbs by sampling each and every one. I don't want those who come after me to lose their lives to this contract. Nor do I wish for Cheng Sheng to perish from losing her host. This leaves only one solution, doesn't it? Precisely. I will be Cheng Sheng's final host, and the tradition of passing down the contract will end with me.
Even the gods of old struggle to achieve true immortality. First you want to save others, then you want to save yourself. Now you even want to save me. You're getting greedy, Baiju.
But isn't wanting to have it all what makes us human? For a selfish moth like me, who's afraid of the flame yet yearns for the light, the only path forward is up towards the moon.
For once, Paimon just does not know what to say.
That is
Dr.
a surprise,
Baiju,
Paimon, to be
Traveler,
honest.
what are you still chatting about? The food's about to get cold.
Oh, yeah, we chatted for
We also
hours.
have coconut milk for Cheng Sheng and Paimon.
Okay, fine. Let's go grab some food. Paimon has a bunch of burning questions, but they can wait till after we've eaten. I do envy Paimon sometimes. Eating her fill is enough to satisfy her body and mind.
True. And yet, although we call them simple pleasures, are such things as these not precisely why we mortals cling desperately to the life we have?
Oh, I should be able to finish Yelin's now. Oh. Yelin's quest now. Oh, yes. Yeah, there we go. To the tea house we go.
There is now no poison left in his system, but recovery from the damage already done will not happen overnight.
Dr. Baiju, is my father going to be...
You needn't worry too much. Keep taking the prescribed medicine every day, and a full recovery will take at most 2 to 3 years.
That's a
It's
while.
good we caught it in time. A few days later, and the toxin would have built up in the internal organs. At that point, things would have been much more serious.
How did they successfully secure such a seldom-seen poison? It seems the Fatui are extremely resourceful. Unfortunately for them, they were up against us.
Uncle Tian will be heading off now. Remember to get plenty of rest and avoid overexerting yourself while you're recovering.
Don't worry, I will. Thank you very much. You're here too? Thank you for all you've done to resolve this situation. I'll have to make some tea in a moment. You simply have to try it. Yes.
Sorry,
the
one of the
exhaustion
disciples was trying to
seems
kill
to have
you.
gone. My mind is steadily getting clearer again.
Luckily, it looks like choosing the Tianshu's successor is suddenly not such a pressing issue after all.
Hey, Yelan!
My work is mostly wrapped up, so I thought I'd take a minute to check in here.
The assessment process comes to an end here, Uncle Tian. In my opinion, Zhi is not suitable for the position. But Qianwei and Mingbo both have potential.
You have my gratitude. People can change their loyalties easily. I've always known this. But whenever it happens, it's still
especially when it's your favorite disciple.
Experience.
Is it just Paimon, or is Uncle Tian not that surprised?
Don't underestimate Uncle Tian. He wouldn't have appointed me as assessment officer if he hadn't had his doubts about Zhi. Normally, the Yue High Pavilion would be responsible for assessing the candidates. Isn't that right, Uncle Tian?
Yes, to be quite honest, I wanted to trust him unreservedly. But I have to be responsible with the position of Tianshu. When I first met Zhi, I wondered if he had approached me with a hidden agenda. So I secretly investigated him. I concluded that he had no ulterior motives whatsoever. He just saw me as an ordinary fishing friend. In the end, even he changed. But when did it start?
Power changes people.
I never had any plans to recommend him directly, but I always intended to give him the chance to compete on a level playing field. Family background and fame mean everything to many people, but I don't attach great importance to them. I had no reputation to speak of when I first became Tianshu. I relied on Ganyu's assistance for all manner of things. What I really admired about Zhi was his intelligence and resilience.
I have to admit, he's a smart guy, and very cautious. The intel suggests that the Fatui saw him as very low risk, but Zhi was still extremely careful with the poisoning. He chose that specific liquor from Xinyue Kiosk because the fiery flavor would mask the bitterness of the poison, and he chose to wait until the Fatui official was drunk and had his guard down before delivering it to him. He also installed a secret compartment in the wine pot he bought to hold the poison. As the amount of liquor went down, he'd shake the pot to release the poison from the compartment into the liquor. Afterwards, we also found he had an antidote on him. Had the Fatui official grown suspicious, Zhi would have drunk the poisoned wine himself, and then found an opportunity to take the antidote
damn, he
shortly
was
afterwards.
prepared.
But that's still really dangerous.
Yes. Had he drunk the poisonous wine, he still would have faced serious health consequences despite taking the antidote. He didn't hesitate to put himself in harm's way to achieve his goal.
How is Zhi now?
Don't go
I
trusting
mean,
him.
He is sitting in a jail cell. Like Yanfei says, everyone who breaks the law has to pay the price. Still, he's cooperating. He didn't turn down my offer to strike a deal. I'll make sure there are plenty of guards around to keep him safe from anything the Fatui might be planning.
A deal? Does this have to do with what you said to him when you arrested him?
Yes, Zhi's not the one I'm interested in. If he was as far as this went, I'd have handed the case off to my subordinates as soon as I realized. But once the Fatui became involved, things got a whole lot more interesting. I thought I might have the chance to catch a big fish.
Well, did you?
Almost. Unfortunately, it slipped off the hook at the last second.
Uncle Tian? Yeon? What are you talking about? Paimon doesn't understand.
They're trying to get a bigger fish,
Zhi
Paimon.
colluded with the Fatui to try and secure the position of Tianshu. Or, to put it the other way around, the Fatui made an attempt to interfere in the Tianshu selection process. With Yusupov in our hands, and a statement from Zhi, we could afford to continue with a diplomatic offensive. Also, we'd be able to gain control of Theophan, Yusupov's second-in-command. Then we'd have a pawn in the ranks of the Fatui. Pawns like this can be major assets. They open up all sorts of new options. Why else did you think I was investing so...
Plan succeed?
We got halfway. The first part went off without a hitch, and we passed all the information on to Lady Ningguang. But when we tried to make contact with Theophan, he was gone, along with all the evidence.
The Fatui must be spying on us. Otherwise, they'd never been able to respond so quickly.
I found out from other sources that the Harbinger Regrator got involved. The Fatui's main forces aren't concentrated here. Regrator was only treating this as a peripheral concern. It's a pity that Theophan got away. But knowing which Harbingers are still looking at Liyue is something. It gives me a starting point for my next mission.
I have to ask, Yelan, do you have any desire to take over the position of Tianshu yourself? I remember you showed some interest a few days ago at Yenshang Tea House. In my estimation, you are more than competent.
Oh, that. I was obviously joking. I prefer my current life. There's danger and there's excitement. Although it'd still be a behind-the-scenes role, as Tianshu, I wouldn't have the chance to get involved in anything truly clandestine or face any real danger. All right, I'm done here. Time for me to go. I'm heading off again in a few days and I still have to prepare.
Where are you off to this time?
She's gone on holiday.
As you might have guessed. It's for me to know and you to find out. But I'm sure if you keep going as you are, getting yourselves involved in other people's business all the time, you're sure to get caught up in another misadventure before too long. Maybe I'll see you the next time danger beckons. Until then, keep your wits about you. A lot of people are watching you for a lot of reasons. If you have any more questions, just ask Uncle Tian. After the recent turn of events, I'd say he owes you one, wouldn't you?
And that is Yelan's quest now finished. So what I'm going to do is end this stream here. I might do a stream tomorrow about the same time. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a good rest of the day. And I'll see you again soon. Bye. Thank you.